Welcome to another episode of the Services Australia podcast. Today we're joined by Chris, one of our Financial Information Service officers from the Financial Information Service. Chris today will talk to us about what the Financial Information Service is, how it can help us, and really help us to make informed decisions about our finances. How are you going, Chris?
Not too bad. Thank you very much for having me today.
It's great to have you in the studio. Tell me, what is the Financial Information Service?
So the Financial Information Service, or FIS for short, is a free and independent service that provides financial information to our Australian community to help them make informed decisions about any financial options they might be faced with. We are a financial information service, so we can't provide you advice or planning information, but we're basically educators of financial information. So treat us as teachers of financial education that are here to help you with any concerns or questions you might have.
So it sounds like then the service is really for everyone, for all Australians, is that correct?
It is, yeah. So there's another misconception out there that you have to be on Australian government payment to actually reach out and to use our service. That's not correct. You do not have to be on a payment to come and see a FIS officer to discuss your financial options that you might be exploring or your change of circumstances. So when you come into the office or have that appointment with us, we are going to sit down with you and we are going to listen to what you have to say, and we are going to try and help you to the best of our ability, and hopefully have you leaving the office fully informed and confident about your the future choices that you might be making.
So in my household, I have young adults who are starting their first jobs, at university, finishing school. There's a lot going on. How can the Financial Information Service support young people?
So what we would like to do is share tools and resources with the younger generation to help them have greater financial confidence about such things as savings and tracking expenses and making informed financial decisions.
So even simple things like budgeting, and savings accounts.
Absolutely, yeah. Budgeting, saving. A big one, which I'm sure we will touch on later, is going to be superannuation. That's a really, really big thing. And what we're trying to drive at the moment is we want our younger generation, and it's not just the younger generation, it could be parents returning back to work, to look at super or be aware of super so they can supercharge it to have a great retirement when that time comes.
So what are some of the most common financial topics people come to you to talk about?
Well, superannuation, really big one, and all the information that is behind that. We've also got, obviously, retirement planning. So we do have our older Australians, whether they be early retirers or late retirers, we deal with them. Parents returning back to work. We've got customers who might have had an accident at work or a life event where it's resulted in receiving compensation. We can help with that. There's also carers of children or carers of the elderly. So there is a lot of life events that we actually look at. So can I get a payment from Centrelink, or how will this financial choice impact my rate of payment that I'm already receiving? Really big. Another hot topic for our elderly Australians is home equity access scheme. So can I use the value in my home to have extra payments?
So it sounds to me like it doesn't matter if it's a general inquiry, if you've just want to know about budgeting or saving, or if there's a more specific inquiry about a particular service or payment. So it really is that whole gamut.
And look, at the end of the day, if we can't give you the information, the good news is that we're not going to leave you high and dry. We are going to potentially assist you, or maybe refer you to the correct area that you need to just have that discussion. Yeah.
So what can people expect then if they want to engage with a financial information service officer? How do they do it, and what can they expect when they come and see someone?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess I would like to clarify that you're basically going to meet someone, so myself or one of my colleagues, who's 100% passionate about financial education. So that's the really big thing. We are going to try and educate you as much as we can, and we're going to empower you to feel confident about making informed decisions, because that's what it's all about. Now, the easiest way to get in contact with the FIS service is to call our dedicated call centre. So you can do that by calling 132 300, and when you're prompted by the automated voice while you're calling, you need to say Financial Information Service. Now, what will happen from there is that you will be talking to a FIS officer, and what we'll try and do to avoid you having to make that special journey down to the office is deal with your inquiry over the phone. If it's going to be too complex, or we find that customers may not be coping with the information that we're giving them over the phone, we will organise a face-to-face appointment that you can sit down and have a chat to someone. The good news is most of the time customers may not have to reach out to us, because we've got a dedicated webinar series online, and there is a lot of really good videos that customers can watch to gain whatever information it is that they need. The good news is that it will generally generate questions to ask from a FIS officer when you give us a call. If that's not going to be suitable, we've also got video conferencing, and that's proven quite popular, more so for our remote and rural customers, because look, there's nothing worse where you have to travel up to 90 minutes to see someone for a 1-hour appointment, and video conferencing has proven to be quite popular. So definitely ask about our video conference calls as well. So as you can see, there is a lot of avenues. You can do phone, face-to-face, you can watch our webinar series or be a live audience member to one of those webinars, or finally, you can have a video chat with us.
What about some of the trigger points or particular life events that you might encourage people to come and see you for?
Some of the big trigger topics or trigger points are our young school leavers, whether it be early school leavers, year 10, year 12, university. That is going to be a big trigger point. If kids are leaving home, might be a good opportunity to, hey, you might want to reach out to the FIS service and see what you need to be aware of. We've also got a trigger point where if customers are finally at a position where they want to take charge of their money and be financially fit, please reach out to us. We've got parents returning to work, which I may have mentioned. We've got empty nesters. So if your kids leave home, which is quite sad for parents, or a happy point, I'm not sure, it could be one of those, then you might want to reach out to us, because it might be time to sell or downsize the property. If you're approaching retirement, if you're wanting to access your super early, again, like I mentioned, compensation payments, starting a new job, this list goes on and on and on. But the big one is that if you are faced with a financial choice and you I'm not sure what direction to take, that's a good indicator to reach out to the FIS service, and we should be able to assist.
Now, you mentioned superannuation, and that's a big one for everyone. It's something that we all should be thinking about.
Absolutely.
Tell me why it's important to think about it as early as possible.
With superannuation, this is your little nest egg that you're building up. And I'm sure you've got plans. I've definitely got plans for retirement. I want to travel. I would love to buy myself a new car.
Indeed.
I might want to move to a nicer area. You're going to need money. We can't lie. You're going to need money for that. So preparing now, especially at a younger age, is going to help you with those choices you make, your strategy in retirement. Now, you, me, everybody, we're living longer. And I'm fairly certain you're in the same boat. I would love to finish working early.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So just putting in strategies to gain as much of a balance in your super as possible is going to assist with that. And what we try and educate our younger Australians about, and also parents returning to work, or even our customers who are currently working, is to use all these financial resources that are available, whether it be moneysmart.gov.au or whether it's with your superannuation, to use the retirement model or retirement planner calculators, and just to see what a difference adding an extra $20 or extra $100 or whatever it might be will do to that balance. It makes a substantial difference. And if you're not sure, if you're worried, or you've got a lot of misconceptions, or you've heard myths and you're just not sure what's right and what's not, perfect opportunity to reach out to the FIS service, because we are going to be able to assist with that. And we constantly tell our customers, whether they be retirees or grandparents, please send your children, your grandchildren to us. Again, you do not have to be on a payment with us, and you do not have to be retired or retiring to reach out to us. Any stage of your life, reach out to us. We are going to be able to assist you as much as we can.
And that's a great point, isn't it? It's about spreading the word.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I guess if you could leave us with one key message, one thing that we should all do to make sure that we're thinking about our finances, what's the most important thing that we should do you think?
Glad you asked me that question. So I guess the big drive here is it's never too late to become financially fit. So starting earlier makes it better. We are here as a service to educate Australians about being smarter about their finances, your finances, my finances. And the key message I'm trying to, drive home finally is to start thinking today, right now, about your money.
Chris, that's a lot of great information. Thank you so much for that. We've covered a lot of topics. Where can people go if they want to read a little bit more, or perhaps look at some of the things we've been talking about? Where's the best place?
Yeah, sure. So the first port of call is to go to the Services Australia website. So you can access that by typing www.servicesaustralia.gov.au. And on that page, you will notice there's a search box at the very top. So if you just type in FIS or Financial Information Services, you'll be directed to our dedicated page on the website, and from there you're going to be able to access what Financial Information Services does, what's available, and there is a link there for our webinars. So that's your first port of call, because you will find that there is a lot of information about all different topics, all walks of life, and at the end of the day, if there isn't something that you're requiring, say your situation is quite unique to what we have on the webinar series, then perfect opportunity to reach out to us on, again, the 132-300 number, ask for Financial Information Services, and we're going to be able to assist you or guide you where you might need to go.
Well, that's great, and I think we can all probably head straight to the computer and have a bit of a look. I'll certainly be directing my young adults to have a look and start thinking about all these things.
That's
so thanks so much. It's great. It's really great, and it's as you say, never too late to start thinking about our finances.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks, Chris. And don't forget to subscribe or follow our podcast so you never miss an episode.